What's going on, you guys? Hero276 here, and welcome to today's video, and welcome back to my channel. We got a fun team for you today that would normally be hard countered by a Scrafty, but because it's the Retro Cup, you won't see any Scrafty. So this team is absolutely dynamite. We got FROSLASS, double big boy team. We lead into TREVENANT, we safe switch SNORLAX, and then like 5 years later they come in with a Swampert. Now, because we're so far ahead on energy, we're actually going to be able to get to 2 body slams before they can get to 2 hydro cannons. So that body slam nearly KOs the Swampert. So now I'm just going to body 1 hydro cannon, and then I'm going to look to farm down with Lick, shielding the 2nd hydro cannon. And that will enable me to farm down with Swampert. And this is looking really good for us. So Venusaur comes in, and at this point, this game is more than likely over. We have hard alignment that we need, and we get a shield from the body slam, which is very nice. Venusaur is going to throw to take me out, but I believe after this they should be energy dry. So I'm going to come in with the FROSLASS and look to start getting ahead on energy. My opponent makes a very nice snipe, which forces me to commit my 2nd shield, and it was the Shadow Ball, so it's a good shield on my part. But we have Munchlax in the back, and Munchlax is a very hard response to the TREVENANT in the back. So we're just going to look to lick all the way down. Now we have at least a body slam loaded. Venusaur is not going to like the damage output from these body slams, so it's got to start committing shields, and it does. And at this point, we should be able to reach another body slam, and this will chunk at the Venusaur a little bit. It won't do a whole lot of damage, though. It's still very respectable, though. Venusaur does reach the Frenzy Plant, and this is going to more than likely get us very low, and they will be able to farm us down, unfortunately. Now, this is a bit scary, seeing as the Venusaur is ahead on energy. We're not able to reach the Avalanche, and we have to survive the Frenzy Plant, which we do, and 1 Powder Snow is enough to take care of the Venusaur, so that's going to be a good game to my opponent. Very well played. Let's hop into the next match. Hopping into the 2nd game, and we pick up a very poor lead into Kanto Ninetales. We're going to safe switch Snorlax, and they respond with a Kanto Raichu. Now, Kanto Raichu is certainly not going to appreciate any damage from these body slams, and they decide to commit a shield. I'm going to elect to no shield because we can tank any one move. Snorlax is very tanky. So Brick Break doesn't do a ton of damage, even though it's super effective. And now we're going to shield 1 move here, because I do want to preserve some health on the Snorlax and get to another move. I'm actually going to go for the superpower right here, and hope that my opponent decides to commit to the farm down, because then they'll get less farm. So they do end up committing their 2nd shield, but they actually throw their energy here, which is very nice for me. Brick Break will take me out, but I'm going to come in with the FROSLASS and look to get ahead on energy. Just looking to farm all the way down. We sneak through a Powder Snow, and I'm afraid this might be a wild charge, so I'm going to commit the shield, but they're actually running Thunder Punch, which is even better for me. They are able to get to a last-second move, and Thunder Punch will hurt, but it's just a Brick Break, and that's single resisted, so that's perfectly fine. Kanto Ninetales comes back in, but this is a much different game. We have Shadow Ball ready to do big neutral damage, and now we're going to bail into Munchlax. The final Pokemon is an Ivysaur with Razor Leaf, but it's not going to appreciate the Body Slam spam right here. Because we're ahead on energy, we're actually going to be able to reach 2 Body Slams before they can reach 1 move. So Body Slam number 2 is probably going to be taking out the Ivysaur right here. And we'll have to see how much energy the Kanto Ninetales has. They're going to throw here, they farm up a little bit more, but I don't think they have the back-to-back Weather Balls. Munchlax goes down, but we are almost at an Avalanche. Powder Snow is able to register before the Fire Spin, and FROSLASS is going to be able to get to an Avalanche for the good game to my opponent. Very well played. Let's hop into the next match. Hopping into game number 3, and we pick up a lead against a Wailord. This isn't great, so we're going to swap directly into our Snorlax, and we will be able to outpace to these body slams. You know, Wailord does learn Surf, but Body Slam is just a more inexpensive move, so we will be able to outpace. And check this out, guys. We get to yet another Body Slam. This will be taking out the Wailord if they decide not to shield, or if the game decides to work. And the Wailord eventually does get taken out when the game wakes up from its 20-year slumber. At this rate, we're going to have to see what's in the back. And it's a Nidoqueen, but they're not attacking. So you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. We've got ourselves a Rage Quitter. It's party time. Cue the music. Cue the dance moves. Everybody's going to have fun tonight. We're going to have such a great time. Except for my opponent. But we'll wait for them. No, they're not showing up? Okay, let's start attacking again. Maybe then they'll start coming back. We reach the Body Slam. Body Slam will be doing nice chip damage to the Nidoqueen when the game decides to respond. This party is getting too out of control. The game is breaking. And now FROSLASS comes in, and now FROSLASS is going to start to farm all the way down. FROSLASS hits the floor and gets a little bit too low. The game is freaking out, and the timer comes up. They saw FROSLASS farm down, and they're like, we gotta shut this party down. FROSLASS is having too much fun, going for an avalanche to do some massive damage onto the Seismitoad. Seismitoad gets down to about a third health, and the game said they had enough with the party, and they just give me the win. Hopping into the next match, and we have a lead against Dragonite. This is actually very good for us, so we're going to elect to stay in here and just look to Powder Snow all the way down. Look at those Powder Snows, ladies and gentlemen. They are doing so much damage. My opponent comes in with Talonflame, and I unfortunately react a little bit too slow, and we take an Incinerate worth of damage on our FROSLASS. And also by reacting too slow, we get outpaced to the Flame Charge. We should have been able to reach the Body Slam first, but that didn't happen because we reacted too slow. So now, SNORLAX is just going to look to get to Body Slam after Body Slam, but unfortunately my opponent reaches a second move. And this isn't looking too great for us, because now we're at even shields and we lost switch advantage. So I'm going to elect to come in here with Munchlax and get off a Body Slam. Hopefully it gets a shield. If not, it's going to do some solid chip damage to the Talonflame. We might be in a range where we can actually lick down if we want to, which is going to be the plan. I'm going to have to commit my second shield because I don't want Munchlax to go down. So that's what we do. We lick down. My opponent brings in Dragonite, and we lick that down. And what's in back? It's going to be a Nidoqueen. There's a chance. And it's running Bite, which is a little bit unfortunate for my FROSLASS. But Bulldoze connects for massive damage. We're going to throw the Avalanche right here. Avalanche gets the shield, and we just need to get to one more. These bites are really starting to add up, but FROSLASS on 1 HP in a dream gets to the Avalanche to take out the Nidoqueen, and that's a good game to my opponent. Very well played. As Mercy says from Overwatch, the battles continue, and so do the good leads. DRUDDIGON is a very nice lead. Despite dealing neutral damage with the Dragon Tails, we're dealing super effective in return. And threaten KOs with avalanches, so my opponent decides to shield the first one. And as you can see, the Powder Snows are really adding up. I'm going to look to catch a move onto SNORLAX and soak what should hopefully be the Dragon Claw. And at this rate, we have an Avalanche banked on the FROSLASS, and that energy is going to really help us out later. Dragon Claw gets the SNORLAX down to about half health, and my opponent brings in Lapras. And this isn't too bad. I'm going to go straight Superpower, thinking my opponent won't shield or won't want to go down 2 shields, but they actually do shield it. That's very smart by my opponent, but they are actually going to throw their energy instead of commit to the farm down, which I think is a bit of a mistake. Now I'm going to come in with Munchlax and just look to spam with Body Slams. Munchlax is very tanky. It can survive 2 Surfs, but I have 2 shields, so I might as well use them, committing the first shield on the first Surf, and I'm going to get to a Body Slam right here, over farming slightly, and this Body Slam will chunk a little bit, and the second Body Slam should get very close to KOing. I'm going to shield the second Body Slam right here, worried about Munchlax's health, but apparently that's not a big issue because we're going to commit to the lick down even though they're definitely outpacing us to a move. I should have definitely judged that a little bit better. Anyways, Surf does not KO. My opponent tries to snipe with DRUDDIGON, and we're able to farm down with FROSLASS. And now, Lapras is going to come in, look to farm us down, but we're actually going to throw an Avalanche right here. Avalanche takes out the Lapras. Then Crustle comes in, and they try to snipe, but we're able to reach a last-second Avalanche. Are you kidding me? And at this rate, we have a Bulldoze loaded on Munchlax to take care of the Crustle, and that's going to be a good game to my opponent. Very well played. Let's hop into set number 2. Hopping into the second set, we've got a lead against Jellicent. This really isn't that great, so we're going to bail into Munchlax, and we're just going to look to start licking and getting ahead on some energy. My opponent is going to throw a move here, but we don't really have to shield anything. It's the Bubble Beam. That's going to debuff our attack by 1 stage, and we're going to look to throw the Bulldoze. Now, even though we're debuffed, Bulldoze would still do some decent damage. Bulldoze is a bit of a weak move, but my opponent does decide to shield it. And then they come in with Shadow Nidoking. And at this point, I'm ready to full send the Bulldoze. I'm going to call the Sand Tomb right here. This is not enough for an Earth Power, and I correctly no-shield the Sand Tomb. And now, I'm going for the Bulldoze. They're down a shield, they debuffed me, there's no way this gets shielded. Actually, wait, it does. So in that situation, the better play was to go for the back-to-back Body Slams because we would have done guaranteed damage. But you know, it's whatever. Live and learn. The more important thing is now we have FROSLASS aligned on the Nidoking. And FROSLASS is going to be able to farm down the Nidoking. We will have to shield 1 Sand Tomb, but you know, we still have a shield after this, so we're looking to be in a great place. Then my opponent comes in with the Jellicent, but we have the Shadow Ball loaded. So, Shadow Ball doing big damage. Boom! Takes out the Jellicent, and in the back is a Gallade. Now, despite being a fighting type, Snorlax is dealing super effective with the licks, and Gallade has to rely on landing a close combat, which actually debuffs itself. I am going to shield just to be safe, and I'm going to throw the Body Slam to take out the Gallade. And then 1 lick is enough to KO the Nidoking. So that's a good game to my opponent, very well played. Let's hop into the next match. Hopping into the next game, and we got a lead up against Snorlax. This isn't that great, so we're going to look to swap into the mirror match, and we're going to look to try to go for a superpower if we can, but my opponent does decide to throw a Body Slam right here. It felt a little bit quick to be a superpower, but then my opponent swaps in an Alolan Executor. Now notice here that the switch clocks are misaligned, so I'm going to hope to use that to my advantage later. Right here, I'm actually going to shield up this move. I'm going to be fully honest, I was a little bit distracted and lost my counts, so I thought it was a Draco. Turns out it's just a Seed Bomb. So we're going to look to go for the Body Slam. Body Slam does nice damage. We're going to try to lick down, but my opponent reaches yet another Seed Bomb. This is going to put me very low, but I am going to call it. So no shield right there. We're going to bank the Body Slam and snipe with FROSLASS. And in comes Snorlax. But Snorlax still won't appreciate Avalanche. Avalanche is going to do big neutral damage and will hit hard. Avalanche does big damage right there, and we're going to look to try to get to another Avalanche. Snorlax throws a move, but everything is resisted here. I could just let this go, and it's a Body Slam. It doesn't do much damage. We're able to reach yet another Avalanche, and this will be taking out the Snorlax if they decide not to shield, but they give me the second shield. I'm going to try to Powder Snow all the way down, but we're not able to do so. I'm going to come in with Snorlax, and my opponent blind throws a move. So I'm actually just going to let this go and look to get a big lick down on Munchlax. Munchlax is going to have a lot of work to put in, but Snorlax reaches a move. I'm afraid that this is the superpower, so I am going to shield, but it's just a Body Slam. That's unfortunate. And in the back is a shiny Blastoise. What a cool pick. Now, although Hydro Cannon hits harder, we're significantly ahead on energy, so all we need to do is reach 3 Body Slams before they reach 2 Hydro Cannons, and we should be in a good spot. Body Slam number 2 gets the Blastoise very low. Now, how much does a Hydro Cannon do? Hydro Cannon doesn't do a whole lot of damage to the very bulky Munchlax, and we're going to be able to reach the 3rd Body Slam in time to take out the Blastoise. And this is going to be a good game to my opponent, very well played. Let's hop into the next match. Hopping into game number 8, and we got a lead into Meganium. This is very good for us. My opponent's going to swap out into Swampert, but we're ahead on energy, meaning we're going to be able to reach the Avalanche first. So Avalanche is going to do big damage to the Swampert, and then we're going to look to lick down with Snorlax. Licking down, and my opponent surrenders. So that's going to be a good game. Let's hop into the next one. Hopping into the penultimate match, and we got a lead up against Unova and STUNFISK. This is very good for us. We're dealing super effective with our ice moves, And on top of that, Unova Stunfisk doesn't hit very hard. So we can just safely let one move go through. It's the discharge. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage. And we're going to go straight Avalanche here. This is going to shred through Unova Stunfisk. Let's see that damage. Boom! Takes out Unova Stunfisk. But I start to realize something. My opponent stayed in a negative match, so there's probably something else in the back that's weak to FROSLASS. So I'm going to switch into Munchlax to bait it out, and it's superior. Now, this is not a great matchup for Munchlax. Frenzy Plant just hit significantly harder, and we're outpaced. However, superior is also not the hardest hitting Pokemon in the world. So Frenzy Plant actually doesn't do that much damage. Munchlax is very bulky, and we're going to be able to reach another Body Slam. Hopefully this lands. It does. And now, Superior is going to dump their energy, but I'm actually going to shield up the Munchlax because A, I just invested in it today, and B, if the Jellicent is running Hex, they're going to have a hard time farming me down. But they're actually running Bubble, so maybe that shield was a mistake, or so you thought. Munchlax on 1 HP in a dream reaches the Bulldoze and grabs a shield from Jellicent. That is amazing. And little does my opponent know it, but we're actually running Snorlax in the back. So we'll have a very easy time cleaning up this Jellicent. And at this point, this is just a slow and painful death for the Jellicent. They reach another Ice Beam, but who cares? Snorlax is going to have a very easy time licking down. We're actually going to go for a Body Slam right here. And this is double resisted. But my opponent's very respectful, as you can see. And they're going to shield it just to kind of play it out. I like that. I like the good sportsmanship there. Shout out to the opponent. That's a good game. Let's hop into the final battle. Final match, and we got a great lead into Altaria. We're dealing double super effective damage here. The plan is to over-farm by 1, hoping my opponent doesn't catch, but my opponent reads me like a book, and they catch the Avalanche onto a Swampert. The Swampert actually shields it right there, because Avalanche would be doing big damage. We're going to catch the Hydro Cannon onto Snorlax after farming up a little bit. And I realize how valuable FROSLASS is to this game. Because if they stayed in for Altaria with that long and they responded with the Swampert, they're pretty weak to FROSLASS. Anyways, we're just going to look to go for Superpower here. Look to debuff ourselves so our opponent can get less farm. Superpower does nice damage right there. And it debuffs us so that way my opponent doesn't get in as much farm. We're going to come in with FROSLASS and look to shield up the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon would be doing a lot of damage here, so I'm just going to look to Powder Snow all the way down. The Swampert reaches another Hydro Cannon. Swampert's kind of broken, not going to lie. So Hydro Cannon is going to get our second shield, and we're able to Powder Snow all the way down. We'll have to see what comes in, and it's going to be the Altaria again, but I actually bank all the energy and swap in Munchlax, and their final Pokemon is TREVENANT. You have got to be kidding me. So Munchlax is going to have a very easy time closing out this game. And we get a shield from Body Slam of all things. So Munchlax is going to have a very easy time. They Shadow Ball the Munchlax. And we're just going to look to lick all the way down and leave with a ton of energy. This time, I think my opponent goes correctly for the Seed Bomb. That does way more damage. And it's just more energy efficient. But because they went for the Shadow Ball, we're able to fully lick down, and we're going to go for the Body Slam. Body Slam will be doing nice damage to the Altaria, and we're going to be able to go for Body Slam number 2. No FROSLASS needed. Body Slam takes out Altaria, and that's a good game to my opponent. Very well played. As you can see, in the 2 sets that we ran with this team, we were undefeated. I actually still have yet to lose with this team. I'm on a 13-game win streak. So definitely try this team out for yourself if you're looking for something to give you a lot of wins. If you like the music in this video, then feel free to check out the link in the description below with access to all of my music. Anyways, that's going to be all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.